Tensions between the United States and Iran are again drawing international attention, with President Donald Trump weighing his next steps amid unrest inside Iran. As protests continue and global leaders respond, the situation highlights how U.S. foreign policy decisions can intersect with internal developments abroad. According to White House officials, President Trump is currently considering his next move as Iran faces widespread anti-government demonstrations and a forceful response from Iranian authorities. U.S. officials have acknowledged that public statements from Iran's leadership differ from private messages sent to the Trump administration. Reports from journalists and international observers indicate that protests have taken place across major Iranian cities, including Tehran. Human rights groups and regional correspondents estimate that thousands of people may have been killed during the government crackdown, with the confirmed number expected to rise as information becomes available. During this period, President Trump announced a policy increasing economic pressure on Iran. He stated that the United States would impose a 25% tariff on any country that continues doing business with Iran. The White House also confirmed that President Trump was scheduled to receive additional briefings on possible U.S. responses. Access to information inside Iran has been limited due to ongoing internet restrictions, though some international communication has intermittently resumed. Meanwhile, governments in Europe, Israel, and the United States are closely monitoring the situation, with some European leaders publicly commenting on the instability and the use of force by Iranian authorities. This situation matters because it reflects a recurring pattern in President Trump's approach to foreign policy, particularly toward Iran. Throughout his presidency, Trump emphasized diplomacy as a preferred option, while also using economic pressure as a primary tool to influence behavior. The combination of public restraint and private pressure has been a consistent feature of his strategy. Political analysts believe the administration's messaging serves multiple purposes. On one level, it signals openness to diplomatic engagement, reinforcing the idea that military action is not the first choice. On another level, the announcement of new tariffs underscores a willingness to escalate economic measures if conditions do not change. From a broader perspective, the unrest in Iran places the Trump administration in a complex position. The United States has historically criticized Iran's human rights record, but direct involvement in internal protests carries significant risks. Analysts note that overt U.S. support for protest movements can sometimes be used by authoritarian governments to discredit demonstrators by portraying them as foreign-backed. The claim circulating among some Iranians that President Trump is viewed favorably highlights how U.S. actions can resonate differently among foreign populations compared to their governments. However, experts caution that such perceptions are difficult to verify, especially given communication blackouts and limited independent polling inside Iran. The administration's emphasis on economic pressure also reflects Trump's broader belief that sanctions and tariffs can reshape international behavior without direct military engagement. Historically, similar approaches have produced mixed results, sometimes increasing leverage while also hardening resistance from targeted governments. This situation could signal several potential developments. Continued economic pressure may further strain Iran's economy, potentially intensifying internal dissatisfaction. At the same time, it could push Iranian leaders to adopt a more confrontational posture externally. For the United States, the challenge lies in balancing human rights concerns with regional stability. Decisions made by President Trump could influence relations with European allies, many of whom have favored diplomatic engagement with Iran. The administration's next steps may also affect security calculations in the Middle East, particularly for U.S. partners in the region. Institutional responses within Washington are also relevant. Congress, foreign policy analysts, and international organizations are likely to scrutinize how the administration aligns its stated preference for diplomacy with its use of economic pressure. In summary, President Trump is weighing his options as Iran faces significant internal unrest and international attention. The administration's approach combines diplomatic signaling with increased economic pressure, reflecting long-standing elements of Trump's foreign policy strategy. As events continue to unfold, global leaders and observers remain focused on how U.S. decisions may shape both Iran's internal situation and broader regional dynamics.